Hey, everybody, welcome into STL Sports Central presented by DraftKings. The crown is yours, and you are watching Domesticated Gamblers, your home for St. Louis sports gambling talk. My name is Eric Sontag. There is Shawn Surwillo. We are with you guys every week talking sports betting and covering our hometown teams from a gambling perspective. So hit the like button, subscribe to the STL Sports Central YouTube channel if you haven't already, and get involved in that live chat. We are happy to read your thoughts on anything you want to talk about here tonight. So we're going to kick things off by previewing the AFC and NFC championship games, let you know where our action is for those matchups. Going to talk some college hoops, give our picks for SLU and Mizzou this weekend. Also have some other bets from across the sports world. And then we'll close out with our best bets here on the show. No Blues talk tonight, and they don't play till Friday. No odds for that game yet. This team is god awful anyway, Mr. Sharp.
Yeah.
So welcome back, brother. What's going on tonight, man?
Not much. Getting ready for this championship weekend. Then we'll get to the Super Bowl. You got some hot takes coming up here about that. And yeah, the Blues, big wolf this year. I'm not sure I'm even going to tune into one game this season. So, yeah, I'm kind of ready for baseball, even though I think there's a lockout coming. We're going to start prepping for baseball season here soon and looking at the future market.
I know you've been busy getting your son to bed before we hopped on, but did you see the news that Freddie Peralta has been traded to the Mets?
I did see that, and I'm excited for that. That's a good move for Freddie Peralta. All you fantasy managers, he's being drafted a little too high. He's coming off a career year, so he is a fade for me. But I think he'll do well in that lineup and with that team structure.
Yeah, just the Brewers know what they're doing. So whatever they got back, I'm sure it's going to be great, and whatever they gave up, I'm sure it's a declining asset. Yeah, Freddie Peralta, solid pitcher for a long time, but yeah, would not stun me if he's starting to, get over the hill and be on a little bit of the downside. So, interesting baseball news breaking within the last 15 minutes or so. So, wanted to mention that for sure. The gambling, like I'm just continuing to embrace the grind. Like I'm usually about a $5 to $10 better for those of you watching. So I said I'd love to average making $10 a day from gambling this year. That'd be $300 a month. That would help pay for the new furnace we just got installed in this house a few weeks ago. We're 21 days into the month. I'm up $250 so far. So right
Heck
on pace for where I want to be. That said, I had a terrible show last week. It was just me on the show. I didn't have Mr. Sharp to run things by, and I lost my best on every single football game. So I always take this show seriously, but I definitely want to lock in this week and give out some winners. Mr. Sharp, I missed you last week. I need you tonight to talk me through these football games.
I've been so busy, man. Busiest year of my life so far in 2026, 2025 football season, same stuff. Yeah, I was all over. The public really did well in the wild card weekend, and the Sharps took a hit. But last weekend, the Sharps were back, and the public took a hit. So it's at up and down. And this weekend's going to be tight, right? These lines are super, super tight. This Rams Seattle game, I think this thing's a toss up. I wouldn't even bet it on the number either way. The money's pretty much split. But there is an advantage in this Denver game. I think we're going to still fade the public. It looks like about 72% of the money's on Denver already. So
Wow.
I got to get back to who I am, and that's fading the public. This year I really struggled with when is the public going to fall apart, and all these prop bets, the market's really changed. And so we have to do a little bit more research about just the money on the number, right? Like a lot of future bets, a lot of prop bets are out there. So I got to get a little better this year. One of my worst NFL seasons, and I can admit that. It was not terrible by any means, but wasn't a great season. We could have won some more money. So I'm looking to cash one game this weekend and then, have a large Super Bowl bet and have some fun.
Yeah, like to hear that honesty, transparency. We're all about that here on the show. I really do think that is something that I know it's important to me. It's important to us here on the show. There's lots of different angles of these games. We'll talk a lot about props tonight because, like you said, these numbers are just spot on. Where it's
Yeah.
tough to really find an edge, but with the side total with the props, I think you could really find some great angles. But we're all about the honesty, transparency here on the show. There's a lot of frauds in the gambling content space. So every bet that we make, it's documented for anyone to see on that free Action Network app. So if you're watching, just highly recommend create a free account. Track your own place. So you know how you're doing. You follow me and Shawn. You get a notification instantly anytime we make a bet. Shawn's username, Mr. Sharp 4499. Still up over $5,600 since starting to track your plays there back in June. So it's been a lot of low volume. I know you've had a busy year, but cashed a really nice one on Monday night with Miami covering that spread against Indiana. That was a nice hit for you.
Yeah, that was a great game too. One of the best games I've seen in a while, really, for college football. Back and forth. I was really glad Miami got back into that thing for my pocketbook, but also for an entertainment value. Yeah, I started an Action Network 7, 8 months ago, and I had not had a losing month since I started, and it's all been tracked. And so we lost about $1,200 the last 30 days, but the units I bet, it's going to happen, right? We'll take 6, 7 months of winning and then have a losing month. We'll take that all the time as a professional gambler. There's no shame in that. And yeah, these guys who go on Twitter or X or Instagram and they're telling you all they do is win. I'm breaking the book. I'm breaking this. They might break them for a few months, but everybody goes through a cold streak and they're full of shit if they don't. Mr. Sharp knows this, 20 years of gambling. You are going to lose sometimes, and sometimes you got to just take a break as well. And I've backed off a little bit myself, and I'm ready, though, for the Super Bowl, to be honest with you. I'm not too interested in these games this weekend.
Yeah. I hear you on that. I know the Super Bowl has kind of been your bailiwick for the last several years now, that you really like to hammer it when you find a really good angle about who's going to
Really
win
like
that
to put
game.
about 2 or 3 grand on that game, and it's exciting time.
Well, follow Mr. Sharp in the Action Network app. Find out what he ends up picking for the Super Bowl and whatever bets we do this weekend. My username in the Action Network app, esontag, been tracking there for over a year now, up over $2,300 during that time. All right, so get on that Action Network app, guys. We could show you how to manage a bankroll, help you build that bankroll, get through any slumps that you're going through. It's going to happen, but we can help you manage that, as you're going through all those feelings. There's a lot of feelings that come with this, and you got to manage it. So just become part of that gambling community where we're all in this together. Samuel Howe is in the chat with us. Samuel, welcome. He's a big a viewer of our Billik many times, so welcome to the gambling show, Samuel. And he says short the Rams. We're going to talk about that game here pretty soon. But yeah, like you said, Seattle's 2.5-point favorite, but this thing they could go either way.
Samuel, welcome to the show. I do agree with you here about shorting the Rams from an emotional standpoint. Fuck the Rams. They left St. Louis. Fuck Stan Kroenke. That's how we all feel, unless you're a weird motherfucker and you like the Rams still and you're from St. Louis for some reason. But yeah, emotionally, you got to bet on Seattle, I feel like, if you're, a St. Louis fan.
Well, if you're not signed up for legal sports gambling yet, make sure you do it as soon as possible with DraftKings. NFL playoffs, let's go. DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NFL, makes every moment feel bigger. In the postseason, the game shifts fast. And with DraftKings live betting options, you can stay right in the moment. Make every moment matter this NFL postseason with DraftKings. We're going to cover both games here in just a minute. I know I have some player props I'm going to be on that I will talk about. And DraftKings has your back with early exit protection. If the player in your eligible NFL prop bet goes down at any point in the first half, you still get paid in cash. With DraftKings, you're covered through the entire half. So why bet player props anywhere else? New customers, here's your shot. Bet just $5. And if that bet wins, you get $300 in bonus bets instantly. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now and use code STL Sports. That's code STL Sports to turn $5 into $300 in bonus bets if your bet wins. In partnership with DraftKings, the crown is yours. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. 21 plus, physically present in Missouri. Eligibility and restrictions apply. Bet must win to receive bonus bets, which expire in 7 days. Additional terms at dkng.co/audio. Limited time offer. All right, guys, let's start talking the AFC and NFC championship game coming up on Sunday. Real quick, though, from Samuel Howe. He says, don't spend your payroll on the Super Bowl. Save some for that SLU Dayton game. Yes, SLU Dayton, January 30th, a week from Friday. I'm going to be there with my wife, my daughter, my mom. We will be cheering on the Billikens against the Dayton Flyers, who lost on the road tonight at LaSalle. Brutal loss for Dayton. That's good for the Billikens and their hopes to win an Atlantic 10 championship. but that's going to drop Dayton out of the Q1 status. So that will not be a quad one opportunity when SLU goes to Dayton. You're hoping to get a Q2 opportunity when Dayton comes here, Q1 opportunity when SLU goes to Dayton. But when these net rankings get updated tomorrow, Dayton is going to plummet because LaSalle is not a good team whatsoever. I believe I saw Dayton was down by like 25 points in the first half, stormed back, got it to within one, but couldn't get over the hump. So Dayton loses Mr. Sharp. So the Billikens and George Mason now atop the A10, undefeated. It's been a lot of fun watching these Billikens.
Yeah, it really has. I think they're ranked 24th now in the nation. But I also think, looking at these metrics with the week conference, this Billikens team averages 90 points a game. And when you got a team that averages 90 points a game, that's really going to make the difference. Bad teams don't average 90 points a game, no matter what conference you're in. So I'm not worried about the Billikens getting in the tournament. They're going to get in this year. This team's special.
Yeah, it's looking really good. We're going to talk about their game at the Bonnies on Friday, coming up here in just a little bit. Samuel says, oh my, I'm not sure he was aware of the Dayton score, but yes, LaSalle 67-64 over Dayton tonight. Yeah, Dayton was a 10.5-point favorite in that game. All right, let's get into these AFC and NFC championship games on Sunday. First up, 2 p.m. on Sunday, Patriots and the Broncos for the AFC title. Jarrett Stidham starting at quarterback for Denver, and that is why the Patriots are a 5.5-point favorite on DraftKings. Your total is 42.5. So let us know in the chat what you are betting for this game. Mr. Sharp, it got to start with you. Sounds like you're already leaning one way. So what do you got on this one?
I like Denver. I think this defense, this is the type of game where your quarterback goes down and the defense says, okay, it's on us, right? We're going to step up. I'm not saying they're going to win the game. It's going to be tough with Stidham, but he's a decent backup, and it's going to be tough for New England to really game plan against this guy. Sean Payton's a great coach. He's going to have a good game, and it sounds like J.K. Dobbins is going to be back with Denver. I don't know how rusty he's going to be, how he's going to be, snap count, but I'd imagine he'll lay it all on the line, win or go home kind of game. So I like Denver in this spot a lot. I like it at 5.5. I think you're going to get the best of the number now. I would imagine this comes down. I think some sharp money is going to come in late on Denver. This is a lot of points to lay in the AFC, championship game, even without your starting quarterback. Bo Nix played okay in that game, not great. So I think with decent play, Denver can stay inside the number and we can cover. And that's what we're looking for here. I'm looking for Denver to stay inside the number. We'll look at the weather closer it gets because there's some brutal weather moving through, right? Could it snow? Things we're going to have to wait and see, but it looks like cold temperatures no matter what, but there could be a lot of snow. So snowy game like this, I'm going to take Denver in the points for sure. I'm going to bet it at 5.5 because I do think the number comes down as sharps come on this, and take Denver.
I agree with you on that because, yeah, Denver, the plus 5.5 on DraftKings is currently minus 118. So that thing is probably headed down to 5. And then I see on a couple other books, it's already at 4.5.
Yeah.
So I mean, if you like Denver, you probably want to strike now. Dwizite STL, welcome to the chat. I don't see how you do not bet the under on this game. Do you have any thoughts on his comment there, Shawn, on the total?
We think of snow games and unders, but a lot of times it gives, the offense the advantage. The defense can't plant his foot. So I don't know. We'll see. But if it's freezing cold and we got 10-degree weather, then definitely we're looking for the under. I think it's at 42.5.
Yep.
So yeah, I like a little taste, Dwight, on the under, but I really like the number here at 5.5. I like that. That's my best bet of this game for sure. Both defenses very good. So yeah, Dwight, you're on to something here. I'm trying to pull up the weather.
Yeah, what I have on the Action Network app, and there's a lot of different places you can look up weather, but I'm just looking at the game preview page in the Action Network app. It says mostly cloudy, 25 degrees, winds of only 7 miles an hour. So again, it's only Wednesday. This
Right.
snow situation, we might be getting hammered with it in the Midwest. And if that's the case, if it starts a little bit more west out in Denver, just keep an eye on that. I will say, just like from a side and a total perspective, I just feel like this is the perfect live betting game because I have no idea what Stidham is going to look like. So,
Yeah.
my plan for now, at least for the side and total, is just to wait. and strike during the game. But my lean for right now, I agree with you. Broncos to cover. It's just Sean Payton. I thought he was fantastic, really, with how he handled that Bo Nix situation last Saturday. He showed a lot of confidence at the podium. He was direct. There was no panic in his voice. I think it's reasonable to assume that Stidham's going to be at least fine. Like, it's his third year in Denver, so like he knows the system. And I just get the sense. I agree. I feel like this line's a little too inflated. I think it moved a little bit too much with an overreaction.
Yeah.
The Knicks. The Patriots were really able to get after Herbert and Stroud in their first two playoff games because his offensive lines are not good. But the Broncos allowed the fewest sacks in the NFL this season. So I think that's an advantage for the Patriots. It's going to get canceled out where Stidham's going to have, not saying he's going to sit back there, have all day to make his decisions, but I'm just saying New England, I feel like they're overvalued because of what their matchups were those first two rounds. But this game, I feel like it's going to be more difficult for them to get after the passer. And I know that's what you say all the time. Like, these games are won and lost at the line of scrimmage. I'm just not sure New England's going to have a big advantage like they did the last two games.
Yeah, New England, really caught a bad C.J. Stroud too, or Houston maybe wins that game. It kind of got out of hand there late, but that was a really close game all game till third, fourth quarter. So, yeah, I think it's inflated as well. Really going to see what happens with the weather, but also, you got Denver is going to play conservative. They are going to run the ball, and they're going to keep this simple. And I don't know if Drake May is going to go into Denver and get the win. But if Denver wins, we're looking at Stidham in the Super Bowl. Woof. I mean, the ratings are probably going to be down. If if it's Seattle and Denver, I don't know. They're going to have some low ratings. That's not going to draw a lot of the average fan.
Yeah, no, I'm with you on that. Wazite says I should have clarified that is based on not just the weather, but on Knicks being on two pretty strong defenses. And what you're saying lends itself to his point. It could be a 13-10 type game, and Denver's being really conservative and just trying to kind of grind this out and not make any mistakes and manage the game. I could definitely see this game going under. But again, I just don't know if Stidham's going to be the next Kurt Warner. It comes in and lights it up. I know that's not likely. But I at least want to see this guy for a drive or two before.
There is a revenge game aspect to this with Stidham. He was with New England for a while. So, does he get his old team back? I don't know.
Samuel Hoskins. Yeah. Do they help? I don't know. I'm a 43-year-old man. I don't know who Bad Bunny is. I mean, I've heard the name. He could walk into my house right now. I would not know who he is.
It's going to help. Green Day helps our generation, right? I'll probably watch that part of the halftime show. But Bad Bunny's not my, kind of guy. I'm more of a Dr. Dre, Eminem kind of rap guy. But yeah, Samuel's right. That'll draw in a little bit of that younger crowd, but my God, I don't want to see Denver really in the Super Bowl, to be honest with you. It's going to be a bad storyline,
It was a buzzkill when the Bills got knocked out. That's what I was certainly rooting for. Just the story of it with Buffalo would have been fantastic. B. Fishman says sports betting's the worst. I guess it's been a bad week for B. Fishman. Come vet with us, B. Fishman. We're here for you, buddy. We're here.
Those 12-team parlays dry up.
So, I also think about the Broncos defense where they're going to step up and really take responsibility. I think that, hey, they will put this game on us. And I think they're going to make it really tough on New England to finish drives. I saw Denver's a top 5 red zone defense. New England's a bottom 5 red zone offense. And I saw this stat today that really clinched it for me that, I want to lean with Denver. I'm sure you're going to like this. So we've seen 9 previous games in the NFL playoffs in history where you have a home dog of 4 or more points. That's what the Broncos are here. Those home dogs are a perfect 9-0 against the spread. Wow. In those 9 games. We saw the Panthers cover against the Rams in that spot in the first round. So definitely lean Denver. But like I said, I think this is a great game to live bet on Sunday when you get a feel for what the Broncos really have. In Stidham, Samuel says 1 game from the superb I'll fight it for D. I don't know what that means.
Maybe Super Bowl. Maybe he's trying to say Super Bowl there, I guess. Yeah, fast. 1 game for Super Bowl. Yeah. Denver did go and win a Super Bowl with Peyton Manning, and this guy could only throw the ball about 10 yards. So that defense has been known to step up. The Orange Crush maybe makes a comeback, and maybe, it's a Cinderella story and they win it without Bo Nix. But it's going to be tough to win 2 games in a row, I think, without your star quarterback.
Yeah, totally. Definitely whoever advances out of the NFC, I think is going to be close to a touchdown favorite in the Super Bowl, especially if it's Denver. I think that thing is going to be pushing 7. If it's New England, it's probably going to be in that 4 to 5 range if I had to guess. We're talking about with that Denver. Oh, go ahead. Yeah, if you got a point.
I saw if it's the Rams versus Denver, it was 8.5, and if it was Seattle, I think it was 9. So
Wow.
yeah, it's over a touchdown.
Okay. All right. Well, I got a couple prop bets for this game. I really want to hone in on that advantage I think the Denver defense has over the Patriots offensive line. So the Patriots O-line has struggled against good teams this season. They didn't play a lot of them this year, but including the playoffs, the Patriots have only played 5 games against teams that finished with the winning record. Drake May was sacked a grand total of 22 times in those 5 games. So over 4 sacks per game. And just in the playoffs, he was sacked 5 times by the Chargers, another 5 times by the Texans. And he's going up against the Broncos that led the NFL in sacks by a significant margin. So the play I had picked out, I've already bet this. Zach Allen is the gentleman's name. He's defensive lineman for the Broncos. And I've bet him to record it. And you can get that at plus 141 on DraftKings. So a nice plus money play. Plus 141, that is an implied probability of something hitting 41% of the time. Well, Zach Allen had at least half a sack in 10 of the 18 games he played this season. So over 50% of the time. That's an edge. That's a mathematical edge. That's kind of the way I gamble, where I like to look for mathematical edges like that. And just especially when you're going up against an offensive line that's been shaky against good teams. So I think that's a really good bet. It's in pocket for me. Zach Allen to record at least half a sack. I bet it this afternoon at plus 148, and it's dropped to plus 141. So I think I'm on to something there.
Yeah.
That someone else is seeing that, and that number's ticked down a little bit. So.
Is he a defensive lineman?
He is a defensive lineman. Yes.
Not an end, just a lineman? D-line?
Not knowledgeable enough. It's on his profile.
I didn't know if D-line running a Cobra stunt, maybe if you were into the Cobra stunts up front, or what kind of front, Denver's running up here, with their schemes. So yeah, maybe he gets on that little Cobra stunt, cuts up the middle, and the center leaves him open. He comes in and gets a sack for you early in the game. Yeah, I like that. You're always on these numbers, man, and that's why you grind it out. You're the best guy at grinding out win after win, and it's incredible the amount of time and the studying you do. Kudos to you, buddy.
Gotta love it. Gotta be passionate about it. Yeah, Samuel says he hope he doesn't get happy feet. I think he's referring to Stidham. I hope he's referring to Stidham because we're rooting for the Broncos in this game, but by the looks of it from what we're talking about here on the show. One more prop out on the other side. Ramondre Stevenson over 20.5 receiving yards. So the Patriots have been using him a lot in the passing game. He had cleared that number in 6 straight games until last week, where he had just 11 receiving yards against the Texans. So you may be thinking like, probably a good time to get off the train there. Only 11 receiving yards. I want to stay on it though, because even though he only had 11 receiving yards, he still had 4 catches. So yeah. I think that's an outlier where he could only turn 4 catches into 11 yards, because Stevenson averages 10.8 yards per reception this season. So I think Drake May is going to keep looking his way. And we really probably just need Stevenson to just have like one good catch and run to clear that number. So I really like that. Number 2, Ramondre Stevenson over 20.5 receiving yards at minus 108. Does anything stand out to you in the prop market, kind of just based on like what you view this game script going like?
Unders, bet some unders maybe. I'm staying away from a lot of the props in this game. I think it is an ugly game. I'm going to stay away. I like the number here, 5.5.
Let's get to this NFC Championship game. I think it really is kind of the main event of the weekend, where the first game is kind of an appetizer for you. But Rams Seahawks 5:30 on Sunday in Seattle. Seahawks a 2.5-point favorite on DraftKings. That's at minus 110. The total is 46.5. A little bit of juice to the over at minus 115. So if you got a bet for this one, throw it in the chat. We will talk about it. Tough game here, Shawn. Where are you going?
Well, the Rams would have covered both games, getting 2.5 against Seattle. They lost by 1 point on Thursday night, and they lost by 2. I think it was maybe on a Monday night game.
Oh, they won. They beat the Seahawks in one of the games.
Oh, that's right. They beat them by 2, and they lost by 1. So yeah, they would have covered both. This time, both times with this number. So, boy, this is a tough game though. That Seattle defense, whoo, man, looked like the best unit left. and there's something special maybe brewing there in Seattle. But you got Matt Stafford, you got the Rams, and this is a good team. I think that offense will get rolling a little bit more than they did in that cold Chicago game. It was damn cold in Chicago, and the Rams should have covered that. Caleb Williams threw up a prayer, and it was caught. Very lucky, or the Rams cover that game. And I think the Rams would have won that game pretty easily if it wasn't for them. So in this game, man, there's just really no lean here for me in this game. I think I'm just going to watch and have no bias. And whoever wins this game is going to be my favorite to win the Super Bowl. We'll see where the final number ends up in the Super Bowl. But I definitely think the winner of this game wins the Super Bowl.
Yeah, I agree with you. Whoever wins this thing is going to take it down. Weather looks pretty good in Seattle, 44 degrees, partly cloudy, basically no wind. So that's probably good for an over. I know you're really good at live betting. You like to kind of just see the game, get a little feel of it, of the elements.
Look at that. Talk about live betting, and Mr. Sharp had about $400 on the Packers, and he live bet the Bears in the third quarter to come back and win that thing because I saw it. I mean, it was just, I'm with you here. If Seattle maybe gets up to a 10-point lead, bet the Rams at a good number or vice versa. So I do think, live betting here is a good edge for sure. Wait till the other team, whoever gets the big lead and get the best of the number.
Yeah, Samuel House says loud crowd, definitely going to be a loud crowd in Seattle on Sunday. So I said before the playoffs, I thought the Rams are going to make the Super Bowl. So I'm not going to steer off that now. I think the Rams win this game. I do think these teams are very even. I just trust the Rams more. Sam Darnold, he keeps shoving it up people's asses, but it's well documented his struggles against the Rams. This team in particular, 2 games this year. He had the playoff loss against the Rams last season when he was with the Vikings, and I know we cashed in on. That was an easy W for us.
Yeah.
But those 3 games, he's thrown 7 interceptions, and he's been sacked 13 times. So I know the Seahawks won the last meeting, and that's why they have the home field advantage here. But I do think that was a bit of a fluke result. The Rams led that game by 16 in the fourth quarter, and it took a special teams touchdown to turn that game, or else it was over. Fans were starting to boo. A lot of fans were starting to leave. And just I think that was a fluky result. And Sean McVay has owned the Seahawks in his career, 13-6 against the spread as coach of the Rams. Matthew Stafford, 6-1 straight up, 5-2 against the spread against Seattle as the quarterback of the Rams. I just think they know what they got to do against this team to win. I think they know the formula. And just like I said, I just trust them more. So I think this is going to be a small play for me just to have some action on it. And it's just, again, that's the team I've picked out to get to the Super Bowl from the NFC, but I didn't bet any futures on them just because this year was just so wide open. But I want to have just a regular size play on the Rams plus 2.5 at minus 110. Wouldn't mind money line plus 120 either.
The only thing that worries me here, and I'll look into it more before kickoff, a team coming off an overtime game against a team who didn't, with home field advantage in the playoffs. We'll see how, the Rams bounce back. A lot of travel there to Chicago and back. So we'll see. I guess it's a little shorter week for the Rams as well. So all these things add up. It's been a long season.
Yeah, both 1 seeds have the rest advantage because they both played on Saturday.
Right.
Last week, Samuel says, no, I shall not put money on the Lambs. I don't blame you one bit, Samuel.
Samuel, I like to always say I don't let a man take money out of my pocket. So fuck Kroenke forever, forever. Fuck Kroenke. But if I got to win money on the Rams, I got to win money on the Rams.
Yes, you do. Business over feelings, that's for sure. Yeah, Dwight says not to switch gears, but Yachty to the front office. Yeah, he's going to be a special assistant to Chaim Bloom. It sounds feel like we've heard this story before. Yachty get involved. I'm all about it.
When did we hear that? We heard that 2016, 17.
He'd be around for a long time.
I thought we heard this before that he was heading up to the front office.
Do you think it was notable? We had some Cardinals talk on the show last week and started talking about the win total. 73.5 was what it was last week. Under big time. I talked about on the show, already put it in pocket. I looked today. It's already dropped 71.5 on most books, including DraftKings. It was 73.5 on DraftKings last week. It's now 71.5. Would you still take the under at 71.5?
We love the best of the number, but I think this team's going to tank. we're most likely headed for a lockout in MLB. It's going to be fucking brutal for a lockout, but it's needed. The Dodgers have the system rigged right now. Everybody's burnt out on the Dodgers. Get the salary cap in here. I think we're all kind of ready for that change. And I think the Cardinals are just going to fucking flat out suck this year. Me and you were pretty optimistic about the Birds on our, last season. We cashed that over, but this team is not going to have pitching depth. This team's not going to hit for much average. It's going to be a bad year for Cardinal fans. They've been wanting a rebuild. They're going to get it. Or I'm sorry, DeWitt said a build, not a rebuild. Whatever the fuck he wants to say. Get out of here with your word salad shit. Come on, guy.
Yeah.
It's a rebuild. Just say it.
I know. Just be real with us. Just say the word. We're big boys and big girls. We can handle it.
Right.
Keep it close to 500 boys. No, that's what it was last year, Samuel. Yeah, Miss Shawn and I were on the show saying over for 76.5 wins because the team really wasn't that much different. They end up with 78. We cashed that bet, but this is the year. I mean, they've gotten rid of all the good pieces, with Gray, Contreras, Arenado. I got to think Donovan is going to get dealt, and then that number's just going to plummet even more. Probably it might get under 70. It might get dropped to like 69.5. If Donovan gets dealt, I saw his WAR was about 2.5 last season. So if he's worth 2.5 wins, that's going to bring it down to 69.5 most likely.
Yeah, maybe the books already even know that he's going to get dealt, so it's down to 71. They're probably baking that into their number.
Yep. Yeah, it was. I called it out to Randy K earlier today. Yeah, it's going to be a tough season in Cardinal Nation. I do want to give one more prop play for that game with the Rams and the Seahawks. I know I want to be on Kenneth Walker in some capacity, obviously in line for a massive workload with Zach Charbonnet out with the torn ACL. But obviously the books know that too. So his rushing props have really skyrocketed. So I think the value's been sucked out of those rushing props. But I think you can still find value on him in the receiving market. And the bet I've picked out for Kenneth Walker, over 23.5 receiving yards at -111 on DraftKings, similar to Stevenson, very involved in the passing game as of late, and in particular when the Seahawks play the Rams. So obviously 2 games against the Rams this season. Walker had 3 catches for 64 yards and 3 catches for 44 yards. So easily over the number. He's only going to get more work with Charbonnet out. And I think this makes sense with the matchup, right? With Darnold, his struggles against the Rams, this defense is in his kitchen. I think Walker's kind of that nice security blanket for him where he can check it down, get some easy completions. So this is in pocket for me. I got it at a better number earlier today. But Kenneth Walker, current odds on DraftKings, over 23.5 receiving yards at -111. But as always, shop around, get the best of the number.
For sure. I like that play. I might join you with that little small taste, little $50 bet.
What do you think about Darnold to throw an intercept? I want to bet this thing.
What's that, -175?
It got bet up to -155 already. That moved, I think it was -138 when I saw it this morning. Then bet up to -155. I think that's too juicy as a standalone, but I think you can maybe do that. You see those same game parlays, if you can get something down to, whether it's even money or even down to like plus 300, you can boost it like 30 to 50% or whatever the books offers. We get closer to the weekend. I think that could be one you pick out because Darnold, he's been very, very good, but the Rams have been his kryptonite. I mean, 6 interceptions in the 2 games this season. I just don't see a scenario where he plays a perfect game and doesn't slip up one time.
I totally agree, but it's juiced up a little too high for me.
Yeah.
Dare I say this, but we really could use Patrick Mahomes in the playoffs right now for some good entertainment because we got Matt Stafford, and that's about it. The AFC, Drake May's maybe going to, he's going to be a player, but I sure could go for some Patty Mahomes in the Super Bowl this year.
Oh my God. Yeah. It's
I'm
lacking.
Sure Tito loves that hot, everybody's going to get on me about that hot take, but he has the entertainment value. He has the it factor, and I'm really missing Patty Mahomes right now. I was hoping Josh Allen was going to make it. He got fucking screwed on that call. That was bullshit. And it looks like they're going to bring their old coach in. So Brian Daboll looks like he's going to get the job.
Man. Yeah, just this Final Four is just missing some juice. I hope we get a great game, at least one great game on Sunday. But yeah, just not as excited for this as I thought it would be. Advertisers says, be accountable, Build-A-Wit Jr. Own up to the mistakes. It is a rebuild. And yes, we're all about holding people accountable on the show. And just be real with us. It's okay. But we're still going to come support the team. We'll be more prone to support the team if you're honest with us and talk to us like big boys and big girls. That's what I
Totally agree. Stop talking to the Dorothy and the B-fibs of the world. This little, I guess, millennial, Gen Z, Gen X, we can handle the truth. Give it to us. It's a rebuild. It's okay. Talking about, upgrades to Busch Stadium 2 already. Or Busch Stadium 3, sorry. Yeah, just be real. It's a rebuild. It's okay. We can handle it. Brendan Donovan's going to get traded. So I'm excited to watch some of the young players get a shot all year. Gorman should be playing all year. JJ better be fucking called up. We'll see. And I'm hearing rumors about Newbar getting traded as well.
I would not mind that one bit. Not one bit. All right, let's move this thing along. Talk some college hoops real quick and start with your number 24, St. Louis Billikens. If you got thoughts on the Bills, throw them in the chat. They really survived and advanced last night against Duquesne. But I was saying on the post-game show last night, just win, baby. Like, especially on the road. That's all you got to do at this point because SLU has now won 12 games in a row. They're 18-1 overall, and they're back on the road Friday at the Bonnies. No line for this game yet, but Ken Pom does project it as an 84-75 win for the Billikens. So it's going to be about SLU -9 with a total of around 159. So this is a game the Billikens should win. Bonnie's 1-5 in conference play, but all of those losses have been by single digits. So this is not a pushover. It's always a tough place to go. Samuel House says it's a Friday 4 p.m. start. I think it's 4:30 Central Time. It's just a weird start. I don't know why they're doing that. I don't think there's any other conflicts with sporting events Friday night. But just this is a dangerous opponent. The Bonnies can shoot the rock. Top 25 in the country in three-point shooting. Top 20 from the free throw line. They're a good offensive rebounding team, which SLU really struggled with last night. So I would not feel great needing SLU to win by double digits. There's also some weird travel, as Samuel House says. It's St. Bonaventure's in Olean, New York, which is no good way to get there.
Yeah.
You're driving through the sticks for hours in order to try and get there. So it's always a really tough place to play. I think the best bet for this game is going to be the over. Bonnie's not good defensively. They've been a big time over team as well. The over's 13-5 in their games this season, including cashing in 9 of the last 10. And really, SLU's game did stay under last night by a few points, but it was mostly because Duquesne, which is really bad from the field. So I think the Billikens they got a little lucky last night. They played good D, but they got a little bit lucky.
What's your over under number here? What do you think we get?
159 is what I'm projecting. That's what Ken Pom says. So it's going to be right around 160. Game last night ended at 158.
So what do you think? Billikens put 90 up. It's 82-90, somewhere around there.
I do think the game is probably going to be played in the mid to high 80s, most likely. Yes.
So what's your cutoff number?
Probably 163.5. Anything, if it's close to 165, I'm if you have one bad drought, it's probably going under.
Yeah.
And that's what happened last night. Duquesne just
such a high college game in the A-10.
Yeah. It is. But SLU just plays so damn fast. So they like a game that's going to be up tempo like that. So, over's been profitable in SLU games this season, and they may just put a hurting on the Bonnies after really kind of squeaking by. I think they were a little tight last night. Do you buy that? They might have been a little tight. You get that 24 next to your name. You're getting scrolled across the ESPN line with, the top 25 teams in their games. I think that's human nature for college kids. Get a little tight.
It's not even that you get a little tight. It's the opponent sees that as well. And that's a big time game for them when you're playing a ranked opponent, So you get a little tight, and then the opponent says, oh, here, this team's coming into our town. They're ranked. We want to knock them down. So I think there's, both factors are contributing there. But I do agree. I think SLU bounces back. They get a win. But I wouldn't love 8.5, 9. I'm with you on the over. I think this Bonnie's team is going to give up some points against this great offense. We're going to give up some points because they can shoot the rock. I like the over too, but we'll see where it ends up, right? That's always it. The key. What's the number? So hopefully it comes out at 158, 157.
I hope so. Yeah, a lot of times this year, the books number they post has been a few points higher than the Ken Pom projection because the market opinion of SLU has been so positive that especially now this team is ranked. The word is out, and teams know how, or the public knows how explosive this team can be. So it's a very good chance maybe we don't get the number we're looking for. But that's, again, follow us in the Action Network and you see what we officially put in pocket. Samus says just because you can score 100 doesn't mean you should. Part of this is you don't want games to get too loose. I think that's kind of what he's saying is, you got to make sure you're locking in on D. And I think the Billikens did kind of, they sometimes fall in love with wanting to score so much that every once in a while, not often, they've been a very, very good defensive team this season. But I think they let up last night. They get up by 17 on Duquesne in the second half. I think they relaxed. And you can't do that. You got to lock in on D for 40 minutes.
You sure do. And I love how you're using that word loose. When things get loose, Mr. Sharp loves that. I got a quick basketball story for you from last weekend. We had a game at the Salvation Army right off of Union Road. Very nice gym, actually. Hadn't been there in a long time. We're playing a game. Second half. We got about 10 seconds left. My son hits a 2-pointer, puts us up 1 point. They call us on a foul. It's fine. We put them at the line. They make it. At this age, you get 2 points. So they're up 1. There's like 4 or 5 seconds. We inbound the ball. They foul our guy. He's at the line with 1 second to go. They pull their team off, no rebounds. Kid comes up to the line. This is a 10-year-old kid. Jim gets so quiet. Gets ready to shoot. Parent from the other team yells, "Brick!" 10-year-old misses the shot, right? He's in tears, and we're going crazy. The referee says reshoot, as he should have.
Good for him.
Yeah, he made it, and we got the win. But that parent, he got MF'd out the door for sure by a lot of our parents.
My God, good for that referee. Good for your parents. Like, come on, what are we doing? These are 10-year-old boys.
I could not believe I heard it. It was so quiet. The kid was so nervous, and he just yelled "brick" right in his shot. Incredible.
I cannot. I don't know how you and Tito do it, coaching these youth sports with the parents. And oh my God, like that's a hell of a story. And it doesn't stun me one bit. It does not stun me one bit with what we see nowadays.
My brother came to the game and my parents, and they just couldn't believe it. They're like, "This happens?" I'm like, "Yeah." B-Fish was there. It was not. I could not believe I heard that.
Where is the sportsmanship? What is this? It's been lost on us now.
Yeah.
I think when is an acceptable time to start doing that? High school, probably. If it's CYC or like youth basketball, knock that shit off.
Yeah.
If you're playing like select basketball, okay, I could see that maybe if you're
not even at this age for the parent. From the parents, if the bench wants to yell, that's one thing. They're the kids, But I think the referee could tee you up even at that point. So the parents need to keep quiet. These are little bitty kids who have a lot of emotions, and it's very nerve wracking being at the line with the game on the line, and you're getting yelled brick. It's just crazy.
Especially in effing rec league basketball for 10-year-olds here. We're not trying to win the NCAA tournament, all right? My God. Well, we had another late game situation last night in Columbia that did not go well for the Tigers. And let's talk some Mizzou hoops. And our Mizzou coverage here on Domesticated Gamblers is brought to you by James Carlton with State Farm Insurance. Guys, I cannot speak highly enough about James because he's going to take great care of you, and he can save you a bunch of money. And that's exactly what you want in your insurance agent. I made the switch late in 2024, got in touch with his office and got a quote. It turns out I could save over $800 over the course of the year by having my home and auto insurance with James Carlton and State Farm, as opposed to my old agent who was quoting me a big increase despite the fact that I had not made any claims, no speeding tickets, nothing. So I made the switch. It was a super easy process that James and his team took care of. And I had an extra $800 in my pocket last year because of it. And I am also paying less here in 2026 than I was in 2025. And I know if anything ever happens and I need their help, I'm going to be in great shape because James Carlton has over 470 5-star reviews on Google. That is crazy when you think about it. We don't usually think that much about who our insurance agent is. And this dude's got over 470 people vouching for him, not just me. So big time recommendation to get a quote from James Carlton and State Farm. And when you get that quote, mention Domesticated Gamblers or STL Sports Central. And James is going to make a $20 donation to Mizzou's preferred NIL fund, which is the Will to Win Fund. Go to carltoninsurance.net or call 314-961-4600 1-800-4800. If your insurance costs a leg and an arm, call James Carlton, State Farm. And then SJ says we tied, Dad. SJ
Oh,
said,
yeah, we had 2 or 3 games last week, and I can't keep them all straight. We did end up tying that game. We went to overtime. That's right, and we tied. So my bad, buddy. They all start, piling up together. But yeah, Mizzou, are you kidding me? You got to win that game at home. Garbage. Same old Missouri. I can't with this team anymore, man. These
Yep.
games, we should have won this game. You got to have the home field advantage here, and you got to take this one down. This would have been a big win for this Mizzou team. Big win.
especially just how it ended. You're up by 1 with 10 seconds to go on a 21st ranked team in the country in Georgia. But this guy's name that scored his name is Smurf Millender. He's 5'11", and his name is Smurf.
That's incredible.
He scores in the paint against our 7-footer Sean Phillips, and he gets an and 1 to put Georgia up by 2 with 5 seconds to go. And then this was typical Missouri, a combination of bad coaching by Dennis Gates and poor execution by T.O. Barrett. That was a really bad-looking final play where Jacob Cruz has to heave up this desperation 3. He misses. Tigers lose the game. Like, that's the best play you can draw up with 5 seconds to go where T.O. Barrett's just lollygagging up the floor. That was terrible.
That's what we've been harping on Dennis Gates and the offense for, I can't tell you how many years now. No creativity there at the end of the game. You're exactly right. We need to move on and get a coach in here who's going to get some play, a little creativity for this offense because they have playmakers.
Yeah, he is not a very good in-game coach. No. And just especially when you watch the Billikens, just how good Josh Schertz is and how disciplined this team is. It's like men against boys. I'd love to see SLU play Mizzou. I think SLU would run them off the court. So I don't want to say anything is a must-win game in January, but just realistically, Mizzou cannot lose on Saturday at home against Oklahoma. If they want to be a serious contender for the NCAA tournament, they started the week in the next 4 out portion of Joe Lunardi's bracketology. I saw Lunardi tweet today, if Mizzou would have won that game last night, he would have put them up into the bracket.
Yeah.
So the margins are that thin. So you already lose a home game this week. You got to protect home court next time out, especially against a team like OU that isn't very good. So again, no line for this game yet, but Ken Pom has it 80-75 for the Tigers.
Missouri again, shooting 68% free throw percentage. It just kills us year after year. I know Mr. Tito comes on here and talks about got to hit your free throws, and we just don't hit them. But when you look at the stats here, this Oklahoma team might upset us.
Yep.
Points scored, points per game, field goal percentage, rebounds, steals. They kind of have better stats than Missouri here, so we'll see. Mizzou's got, I am with you. I think it's a must-win game. I definitely do.
I think the number's probably going to be about Mizzou -5, total of around 155, depending on the Ken Pom projection. Man, I don't like laying 5 on Mizzou right now. If you got any thoughts on the Tigers in the chat, let us know. Samuel House says, I think they got to win the SEC tourney. I'm definitely not there yet, especially when you're in the next 4 out for Lunardi. You're right there. I really think if they go 10-8 in the league, that is going to be good enough. Yeah, because then again, we won in Kentucky, beating Florida at home. That win just continues to age well because Florida's really gotten their act together. I really think that's going to be the recipe. If you go 10-8 in the league, that's going to be good enough.
Really got to win this game because you got Alabama after this. And
you're going to get rolled there.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, so it's really a desperation spot, really for both teams. Oklahoma's not good. They've lost 5 in a row, 11-8 overall, 1-5 in the SEC. But you're right, their numbers really don't look that bad. Like they're very close to Mizzou and Ken Pom. I think they're separated by just a couple spots, if I'm not mistaken. Mizzou is at 55 and Oklahoma's at 61. Yeah. So these are very even teams. Like you can't just look at the record in the SEC because it's a gauntlet. Like sometimes you're just going to go through a bad spurt. And Oklahoma's on one right now. But I did see OU 6-13 against the spread this season, including 1-7 on the road. So I think, gun to my head, I would take Missouri. They've been very good at home over the last couple seasons. They're 29-3 straight up. Granted, a lot of those games were against dog shit teams. I get the sense other home losses are coming. I don't think this is going to be one on Saturday, but I'm not laying 5 on Mizzou. I think this is a stay away from me from a betting perspective.
Yeah, me too. I really hope Mizzou can get it figured out, man, because with the the NIL money, this team could maybe make a Final Four. But I'm old enough to remember when the SEC sucked at basketball. That's how old I am. It used to be the Big Ten, the Big 12 show, but the SEC, man, it's a gauntlet for sure.
Samuel House says we do play Bama tough, though. That is true. I remember Mizzou
Yeah,
beating Alabama last year. That was
very
in Columbia. This game's going to be in Tuscaloosa next week that you're talking about. I remember that game last year was like a basketball orgy. It was like from start to finish, just an incredible display. But this is not the same Missouri team.
a
They
lot of
just
talk last year after that win about maybe making the Final Four.
And that's really they peaked. That they peaked then and then just started trickle down, trickle down, trickle down.
Till
You see that
Drake
a
got
lot with fucking Drake. Unbelievable.
I'm actually more excited for the Purdue-Illinois game. I think that's going to be one heck of a basketball game Saturday.
Do you have a lean on that by chance? I was looking at that already. I guess there's no way we have a line for that yet, but I guess I get a Ken Pom projection. Purdue is projected to win that game by 3 at home against Illinois. So very even teams. Purdue's just getting 3 points because they're at home. Boilermakers lost last night at UCLA, 69-67. They're going to be pissed off.
I like the Boilermakers myself, but I don't like 3.5. I'm looking for 1-2.5 point line.
Illinois beat Maryland tonight, 89-70. I think they just covered the number. I think they got it by the hook. I think it was 18.5. I know Boswell is out for Illinois right now. He is a big playmaker for that team.
Yeah,
I would lean Purdue, but I think there's going to be better opportunities this weekend in college basketball. One game I'm eyeing up already, Ohio State, Michigan, Friday night. I'm going to be leaning on Ohio State. I'm nearly certain I'm going to bet this. Ken Pom projects at Ohio State plus 16. This is a rivalry game, of course, but the main thing is Michigan. They looked so dominant there for a stretch where they were just killing teams, like 30 plus, and good teams. Their metrics really got inflated, and that has really caused a lot of massive spreads lately in Michigan games. Over their last 5 games, Wolverines are 0-5 against the spread, including just a 2-point win at a bad Penn State team, and they lost at home to Wisconsin. And just Ohio State's been really solid. Just to finish this cap real quick, they're 13-5 overall, 5-3 in the Big Ten. All of their losses have come by single digits.
Oh, wow.
And they've played some really good teams. They've lost close games to North Carolina, the Illini, and Nebraska. So I think the Buckeyes are going to keep this close. I do think the line's probably going to come out around 15. I would take Ohio State at probably plus 14 or better. This is on Friday night.
I'm staying away. Michigan still has 1 loss, but it's a great point. Rivalry game. And the only way I would bet it is take the points there. I'm never going to lay that many points.
It is a little bit lighter show tonight because college football is over. We just had these 2 NFL games to talk about. I know that was a college play I was looking at for Friday. Thursday slates are usually pretty garbage. It's a lot of, small teams. But is anything else stand out to you on the board, really, from across the world of sports, whether it's, college hoops, NBA, NHL, soccer, tennis, what have you? Is anything stand out to you as Mr. Sharp peruses the board?
I'm done with the soccer betting. I bet that one game with you, and I had a goal get called back on a bogus penalty or whatever the fuck they called, and then they hit the post on one. I think we lost about $700 on that game, but it was fun watching it. I had a lot of fun. No, I'm starting to get into baseball prep. February 20th, we get our first games in spring training, so we're getting close. I love baseball season, and I'm really excited for the futures market in baseball this season. There's a lot of unders I like this year for some players. I think there's some regression for some guys that I follow a lot, but not a whole lot, man, really, to be honest with you, in the gambling world for me right now, except the 2 NFL games, and I like Denver. That'd probably be my best bet, Denver at 5.5.
Forgot about this. The World Baseball Classic is this year. Samuel Howie. That's electric, man. I love watching that.
Good call, Samuel. I just watched a little upload of Ichiro, and Team Japan threw out a little, pump-up video. I'm definitely excited for that. I think Team USA is going to go all in and try to win this thing.
Man, that's stuff you can bet on too. Like I want to dig into that as we get closer because we are approaching kind of dead time in sports. That February and then March Madness, it gets nuts. Yeah, and speaking of that, yeah, Samuel says they play basketball in Ohio and football in Indiana. What a world, man!
What a fucking world we're living in. Congratulations to the Hoosiers for getting the natty. And shame on Missouri for letting the Hoosiers win a natty title before we do.
Oh man,
Ugh.
and the Tigers were looking. Drinkwitz was looking at Mendoza in the portal last year, and I think they had to make a decision quickly, and they couldn't wait around, and they got Fabiola instead. Rest is history.
Yeah.
One other bet I want to point out before we get to best bets. So this is for my night owls that like the late night action, like me, like to stay up late. This is nerdy, but I love me some Grand Slam tennis. And we got the Australian Open going on right now.
Yeah.
And on the men's side, you got the clear top two. It's Yannick Sinner, Carlos Alcaraz. Like these guys dominate the tour now. That said, you still got our guy, Novak Djokovic there, Shawn. We've won a lot of money on this guy over the years.
Especially in this one.
Yes, we have. I think he's still the best player in the world after Sinner and Alcaraz. So I think he's going to run deep in the tournament. He's actually in action right now as we speak. He's looking good in his second round match. The problem for him is going to be when he gets to the semifinals, he's going to have Sinner there waiting for him. And Novak cannot beat this guy. Like Sinner is a younger, stronger version of Novak. It's basically Novak, 15 years ago. Sinner just like rarely makes mistakes. And the Joker, he's old. He just doesn't have that huge power anymore to overcome that. So I do have Sinner in pocket to win the tournament at minus 125. But another bet I really like, I bet this today. I think this is sharp personally, but there's a market on DraftKings called Stage of Elimination. And you can bet Djokovic to get eliminated in the semifinals because if he gets there, he is going to lose to Yannick Sinner. So I got that today. Great price, plus 175 on DraftKings. And assuming Novak wins tonight, which he's looking real strong, that market's going to be back up tomorrow morning. You should be able to get a nice plus money price on that. Again, Novak Djokovic to get eliminated in the semifinals of the Australian Open. Probably be around plus 150 if I had to guess tomorrow. But I think it's a really good way. That's kind of how I enjoy the tennis. I don't know who most of these guys are. I love watching Sinner and Alcaraz and the Joker. Taylor Fritz is fun to watch as well. But if you ride in the future, that's something you can really watch the whole tournament if you're up and just want to have some action because this shit, it really is entertaining and fun when it gets down to the nitty gritty of the Grand Slams.
Man, you could probably hedge that thing out if that does happen. Yeah, do you find yourself as you get older, like you're rooting for the older guy, you're rooting for Joker to win it?
Oh, yeah.
Screw these young cats; they don't know shit.
Yes, like I'm totally about that. And I trust me, like every time Djokovic goes up against one of these guys, I root really hard for him. I remember he beat Alcaraz for the gold medal at the last Olympics. And that was really the last thing on Novak's really career resume that he didn't have was a gold medal at the Olympics. And he beat him. And he was just like, you could tell it meant more to him than it did to Alcaraz. Alcaraz obviously wanted it, but Novak, he was just on a mission. He would not be denied. But really ever since then, it's not happening. He gets to the semifinals. He finds a way to beat everybody else, and he faces one of these guys, and now he gets beat. So, but it's great theater. He really is the GOAT when it comes to tennis. There's no doubt.
No doubt about it.
But Jimmy Connor's making a run in the U.S. Open. I remember that in the early 90s.
Oh, yeah.
Waking up or just staying up, and he was playing like 2 a.m. against some guy, and he was like 40 years old, that lefty. I think he's from the St. Louis area, too. I think he grew up in Belleville or something. He made a run, I think, to the semifinals. Like, it's actually on my bucket list. Get to Wimbledon and get to the U.S. Open in tennis. The tickets are effing ridiculous, but I'd love to make it happen.
Yeah, my favorite tennis player of all time is Andre Agassi. The blonde hair going, then he shaved the head. That guy was just something else. I loved him. My uncle who passed away, we used to watch Agassi play together, and so. Yeah. But yeah, the Joker is the best. And you should get and do a little bucket list trip. I'm going to try to get down to spring training this year to watch the Cardinals. I've never been. I got a feeling this is going to be the last year for maybe a year or two. We'll see with how long this lockout goes. I think we're headed to a lockout no matter what here. It sounds like all the owners are pissed off at the Dodgers. and this thing's going to happen. So we'll see.
Yeah. I think Kyle Tucker might have been the last straw. Yeah, shut it down, fix it. Let's take a year off.
They're paying Shohei Ohtani and Tucker like $4 million this year, and the rest is deferred between the both of them.
So dumb. Yeah. Fix the game. All right, guys, let's get to best bets. If you got one, throw it in the chat. I'd be happy to talk about it. I'm ready for mine, but I had a loser last week. So, Mr. Sharp, if you're ready, feel free to give us your best bet for this week, unless you want me to go first.
Not a whole lot going on, but we're going to throw the Broncos in there at 5.5, and that's my best bet. I think the public is overreacting to Bo Nix being out, and I think Denver rallies around Stidham and plays good football.
What do you think about it? I hadn't really thought about it until right now. Would you look at a teaser this weekend? Would you tease up the dogs? Get the Broncos up to 11.5, Rams up to plus 8.5, both over key numbers. Or just not dick around with it.
No, in these championship games, it's in the second half, teams pull out all the stops, and if they're down, you see a lot of pick six. You see the defense really giving up and letting them score. I'm staying away from anything like that this weekend.
All right. I'm gonna ride with Mr. Sharp. Just remember, it's two football games. You don't have to go crazy.
That's right.
You want to lose your bankroll on a big game. I remember, I'll tell the story, I'm sure, in a week or two when we're talking about the Super Bowl, but you could really lose your ass on one game if you expect it to go one way. You bet a lot of things that are correlated based on your expectation of how the game's going to go. And if you're wrong, you lose a lot of money, lose a lot of bets.
Yes, sir.
Be careful with that. That said, my best bet's one more prop on this game on Sunday. So it's going to be from our guy from St. Louis, Kyren Williams. And I'm going to go over 55.5 rushing yards. I don't understand why this number's so low. But I know Seattle's got a great defense, but in the two matchups against the Seahawks this year, Kyren had 12 carries for 91 yards. That's an outlier, obviously, 91 yards, 12 carries. But even the next game, 23 carries for 70 yards. So easily over this number of 55.5. But really what makes this my best bet, we saw a shift last week where Sean McVay really indicated with his usage that he's going to trust his number one guy, and he's not going to have so much of a split with Blake Corum anymore. So the first round against the Panthers, I saw Kyren at 13 carries, Corum at 11. By the way, Kyren still went over 55.5 in that game, even though he had 13 carries. But then last week, McVay said, I'm riding my horse. Kyren had 21 carries. Corum only had 6. So if that continues, this over is going to cash easily. And even if it does go back to more of like a 60-40 split, I still think this is a really good chance to go over. So that's my best bet. Kyren Williams over 55.5 rushing yards, minus 110 on DraftKings.
I like that, and I'm going to jump on board with you because I do think you're right. I think he's going to ride his number one. I think throughout the season, after Todd Gurley's injury, I think McVay's really backed off as number one during the regular season. It was very surprising in that wild card game against Carolina that he didn't get more touches, but they're going to ride the number one to the Super Bowl, right? I think that's got to be the game plan. So I'm going to jump on that with you. What's the odds you're getting out on that?
Minus 110 on DraftKings, 55.5.
That's right.
Is the number. Yeah, it's just, he can have a bad game, Kyren, be inefficient and still go over that number.
I mean, you think he's going to get 15, 16 carries, right? 3 yards a pop. Here we go.
Yeah. So I really like that look for a best bet. All right, guys, that's going to do it. Hit the like button, subscribe to the STL Sports Central YouTube channel if you haven't already, and support the advertisers. Get signed up at DraftKings. Use that promo code STL Sports. It takes 2 minutes. Go to carltoninsurance.net. Fill out the super easy form on there. Get a quote from James Carlton with State Farm for your insurance here in 2026. Very good chance he's going to save you a ton of money this year. So again, carltoninsurance.net or call 314-961-4800. That is Shawn Surwillo. I'm Eric Sontag. This has been Domesticated Gamblers here on STL Sports Central, presented by DraftKings. The crown is yours. Thanks for watching, guys, and we will see you next week.
Yep. Have a good one.
And let's cash, baby.